Hey, crafters, crocheters, knitters, and yarn enthusiasts. Hi, my name's Jenny. Welcome to Granny Square Peg. It's Sunday, and it is time to go back to the project pile. Okay, so here's a blanket behind me. I made it in 2018, according to my notes. Let's take a look at it. It is done in a purple color called Purple Haze, and then a blue color called Wavelength. Okay, the yarn is called Snuggly Wuggly from Michaels, and it's their dip dye color. That's why it has that variegated color going on, but also the little speckles of color. Right? Really pretty. I like to mix the colors together when I do a thing. We are 40 inches wide by roughly 54 inches tall. My measurements are a little off because I have the blanket hanging. Okay. The stitch, it is called an extended half double crochet, and I will explain that when we sit down and talk about the blanket. But see the border here? I didn't like the border. The blanket is this nice thick stitch, right? It's not open, it's not lacy, it's not airy. And then I was just playing around with the border and I came up with this. Well, it doesn't match the blanket. Okay, it's too lacy, it's too open, it's too mesh. So I'm going to be taking the border off and redoing it. But it's cute though, right? I love the colors. So here is the project pile. 99% of that is blankets in various stages of completion. It used to be in my dining room, now it's in my living room. Now it's time to start going through it. Alright, just like the old days, right? As of a year ago. There is no pattern for this blanket, okay? I just sat with my hook one day and I wanted to try out a new stitch called the extended half double crochet. I keep getting tongue-tied about the stitching. So I sat down with my hook one day, right? And I chained 145, I want to say. I have notes. Yeah, 145 stitches. Okay, 145 chains. And then I did a chain too for my turning chain. I did, the first row is single crochet. The second row is an extended half double crochet, and that's what the rest of the blanket is. Extended half double. When you look at it, you'll say, but it looks like a double crochet. I know. They are so very similar, but not. There is an extended single crochet, extended half, an extended double. Okay, what's the point of these extended stitches? I don't know. It's just to try something new. So I had come across it. I kind of liked the idea of it. I wanted to play around with it, so I did. So, but see my border here? It just does not match the rest of the blanket. So we are going to take this off. Don't even pay attention to that, okay? So that's it. 145 stitches across. When I was done, the blanket came out to 40 inches by, what did I say? 54 inches, roughly. It's done with yarn. Yarn. I saved all my yarn labels, right? It's called Snuggly Wuggly from Loops and Threads, which is Michael's store brand. And it's called Dip Dye, which is, you know, this variation in the colors. The purple is called Purple Haze. The blue up here is called Wavelength. This yarn, there's this manufacturing date, 2015, and I bought it in 2017 and I used it in 2018. Do they still make it? Yes, they do. But it looks a little different now than it did back in 2015. Here's what it looks like when it's all rolled up in a ball. Okay? You know, that long striping they got going on there. And then these little specks of color in there. I love that. So long color changes, but with specks. And I love it. So it is a number 3 light worsted, DK weight. It's a good yarn. It's not super soft. It does have a little bit of scratchiness to it, which I know will take care of itself once it's in the washer with some fabric softener. It'll be fine. Okay? I used a bigger hook than recommended because I wanted my stitching to be a little looser than with the smaller hooks. So I used an H or a 5mm. Look at my purple hook to match my purple blanket. Okay. What else? What else can I tell you? I used 3 balls of the purple color. I used 3 balls of the blue color. Okay. And I worked on it back in September 2018 to October 2018. All right. 10 minutes per row. My yarn, some of it was on sale, some of it wasn't. I paid roughly $14 for yarn. Okay. And it's been 4.5 years, so it's time to get this blanket done. So there we go. Look at all that prettiness. You love it. So you know when you do a half double crochet, you actually wind up with 3 loops that you can work into when you go to the next row. You'll have a loop in the front, a loop on the top, and kind of a loop on the back. All right. Some people work on the 2 front loops. Some people work in the back loop. And when you work in the back loop of a half double, it's called the camel stitch because it gives this little bump and along, and it gives you texture and ridges. But that's not what I did. I actually worked in the second of the top stitches, and I mean the top loop, because there's 2 on the top, where one leans towards the front and one's literally on the top. So I worked through the one there and then the one in the back. So I do have a little bit of texture going on. So I have a lot of things going on in this blanket that I was just playing around with. First, an extended half double crochet, and then I was working in the not so traditional loops of the half double crochet. So there we go. That's my blanket. So there, we are going to sit and we are going to take this border off and we're going to figure out what we're going to do on this. I love trying out new yarns, and that's what it is for me. Let me just check my camera real quick. Yeah, we're good. I love to experiment. I love to be creative with my experiments. That's why you'll always see random colors in the blanket. It's because when I'm at the store, it's like, I like this color and I like this color. But I don't like working with just one color. I couldn't make this blanket all blue, and I couldn't make it all purple. I get bored out of my mind when I do that. That even doing 3 balls of it in a row, I still got a little bit bored. I like lots of color, and I like lots of color changes. It's where I'm happiest. So, I'd been in Michael's in 2017, saw the yarn. I liked the idea of it being variegated, which, you know, is yarn that has multiple colors in it. And I like that it also mixed, the way it faded from the darker blue into the lighter blue into the white and back into the darker blue. I like the way it did the fade, and then I like the way it did the little specks of color, like here in the white where it's got the specks of the blue in it. There was just so many things I liked about this yarn. Did I like the yellow color? No, and I'm a big fan of yellow, but I did not like the way they did the yellow. They made it too bright, and they should have toned it down a little bit. So, I mean, it's not perfect. I picked the colors that I liked, that I was drawn to the most. The blue, the purple, and then, so, like, I like to experiment with yarn, but I also like to experiment with stitches. I always like to learn a new stitch, or a new technique, or a new combo, or a new way of doing an old thing, okay? So we all know that crochet just has basic stitches: chain, singles, half doubles, doubles, and triples or trebles, depending on where it's called both. So a single crochet, a half double crochet, double crochet, and then a treble crochet. They're like, oh, and the slip stitch. They're the basics of crocheting, but then when you put them in a combination, you get so much potential, right? So 3 double crochets together in a chain 1 space. Everybody calls it a granny stitch. Way, way, way back in the day, it used to be called a block stitch because it was just a block of 3 double crochets. So terminology has changed in the decades since I started crocheting, but just I love the potential that's out there and the combinations and the techniques. So when I come across something new, I get excited and then I want to get my hands into it. Hence the crocheting of these random blankets with a stitch I've never done before. And I had never heard of an extended single crochet, an extended half double, and an extended double. I've never heard of it until I saw somebody do a video about it once. And then I found it in one of my own stitch dictionary books. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I wanted to try it out. That's what I did. And when I try things out, I try to make sure that when I'm done, the blanket is at least baby size. Somewhere between baby size and throw, okay? You know, like a throw blanket you put on your couch, because it gives you a chance, a good opportunity to try out your stitching and hone your skills on that particular stitch. So by the time I was done working on this, I am very proficient at the extended half double crochet. And then, of course, I had to switch it up, and instead, because the half double has 3 different loops you can work in, I worked in 2 loops that were not traditional. So, you know, I'm all over the place with this blanket, but I love, because of the yarn, I think it came out super cute. It's just, the border is just, it's not right. So, since we are doing a thing this year, and we are done with our great yarn purge, now it is time to work on the blanket pile. Now, blanket pile, project pile, you'll hear me call it both because it is mostly blankets, okay? I can't purge anything in this pile because they're mostly finished projects. So it's not like I can purge it, you know? Sorry, there's a little knot in there I'm trying to get out. So these videos on Sunday, they are all going to be me figuring out what's wrong with the blankets that I wasn't happy with, fixing them, finishing them, and then selling them. Because, you know, I got kids to put through college, right? So here we go. I am going to do this. And we're going to make a nice big pile of yarn on the floor. And then you guys are going to tell me what you have been up to. What have you been working on? Have you done a yarn purge like I did? And if you did, how did it feel? Did it make you feel really bad? Did it make you feel really good? I'm hoping it made you feel good. Me, I feel so much better since my yarn purge. I really do. I feel like I can breathe again in my house, because also right after the great yarn purge, we started doing other areas in the house. And boy, do I have a story for you about my cat Arlo. But that's going to be for another day. That won't be today. Not while we're doing this. Okay. But yeah, the yarn that I have left, it's been sitting over there on the shelf, but I haven't touched it. I've been in I guess officially I've been in a crochet slump, but I hate to say that because I don't think it's a slump. I think it's me just trying to put my life back together. That's all I think it is. I don't think it's a true slump. Scissors. Do you think I brought a pair of scissors with me? No. We're just gonna, here, see, because I've changed from blue to purple. I'm just gonna keep right on going. I miss doing videos, I can tell you that. I did have another fabric video, but I was not happy with that one. What's in the bin? And it was some fabric in the bin, and then the rest of it was crochet stuff. There was hooks in there, tape measures, pom-pom makers, but I must have been having a day because I did not like the way I sounded in the video. I sounded very angry, and I couldn't get rid of the anger while I was working on that video, so I scrapped it. I'm not putting that out there on the internet. And I'm not gonna beat myself up about it anymore, about this, what I got myself into with having so much stuff. So that's why there was no other video for the fabric bins. There was a second fabric bin, but I just couldn't put that video out there. So the bin's been taken care of. Things have been thrown away. Things have been donated. What I wanted to keep is now in my piles around the house where they should be. Tools with tools, fabric with fabric. I have stitch markers in my corners. I'm trying to... Ooh. There we go. I'm still figuring out the focusing on my camera. Sometimes I get it spot on, other times I don't. So where was I? What was I talking about? Oh, all the stuff from the yarn bin. I mean the fabric bin. It was all put away. So I think for the border for this, I think I'm just going to go nice and simple. I'll probably just do single crochets all the way around with my leftovers, because I do have some leftovers. I didn't like this white color. I have a skein of plain old white, and I just didn't like it. It's too clean, I think. It's too bright. So it didn't match the blues and the purples. So I'm not going to be using the white. Now I just have to find my starting spot with the white. Aha, there we go. I gotta tell you, sometimes I am so glad that when I am done with a blanket, I leave all the yarn tails out like this, so it's easier for me to find the ends. So in the off chance that I want to undo it and repurpose the yarn, or take something out that I didn't like and redo it, that with the yarn tails out, I can, because I didn't sew them in, that I can undo this very quickly. I like that I'm at least smart enough to do that, even if I didn't like the border that I put on there. Alright, so like all the numbers I gave you, that it being 145 stitches, and it being the extended half double crochet, and the size hook that I used, and the yarn that I used, I will put that all down in the description box, because sometimes I don't film these videos in linear order, and I can forget if I told you all the numbers and all the descriptions of what I did. So I like typing, so I will type it out in the description box. I know a lot of people don't read the description box, but that's where you'll find all this information. Description boxes are good. So here we go. I'm just ripping out this this border that it just really didn't work out for me. And with that, I'm going to turn the camera off while I finish this, and I will get back to you once I start working on the border and figuring out what I want to do. Okay? Okay, so these are the kind of leftovers that I'm working with. This was my original ball of yarn of the Wavelength color. It was given to me, and that's when I had fell in love with it. But then I had gone shopping, and I bought some to make a blanket. So this is all I have left of the purple Haze. And then I have all this blue left over from my 3 balls of yarn. I really wish I had more purple, because I would love to do purple border around the blue side of the blanket. And I would love to do a blue border around the purple side of the blanket. I just don't think I have enough purple to go around on the blue side. And I wish I did. So I think that is what got me stuck all those years ago on finishing this blanket, is because I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And at the time they had discontinued the yarn, even though they have brought it back now. I didn't have access to more purple, and I refused to go out and buy yarn. So even if they still make the purple today, I'm not buying any. So I have to make do with what I've got in here. So I will get back to you guys once I figure it out. Hopefully I can figure it out. Keep your fingers crossed. Okay guys, so I did decide to go ahead and use up this ball of yarn because it has the most to it. Hopefully I can get pretty far with the border before I have to dig into that. Okay, so, and I am just sticking with a single crochet for the moment. Going all the way, I already did all 4 sides. Okay, so there's the blue against the purple, and the blue against the blue. I really wish I had enough purple to put purple over here. So, that is where I'm leaving today's video. I do not have time to sit down and crochet and work on this border for the rest of the day. I have other stuff to do. It's Sunday for us, and we are still purging in other areas of the house, so it's trash night. Got to try to get some stuff out on the curb. Got to work on my household budget. So I don't have time to sit and crochet as much as I would love to. My rotator cuff is bothering me a little bit today because we've been working a lot lately in the house. So I'm going to call it quits here. I'm not finished with this blanket. What I'll do is I will come back on Wednesday and I will show you what I did with the border. And then we'll wash it, dry it, or lay it out on the floor so it can dry and make sure it's in shape. On Wednesday, when I do come back on Wednesday, I will have a small sample made up to show you how to do the extended half double crochet. And then I might show you guys what Etsy looks like and how I'm trying to write up product descriptions so I can sell these blankets. Maybe you guys can help me figure it out, because I get so stuck when I'm in that screen and I have to type out something. I go blank and I can't figure it out. There's such a roadblock for me, so I need some help figuring that out. I will see you guys on Wednesday, and we will finish up this blanket that it needs a name. I can't just keep calling it the purple and blue blanket. Yeah, I can. I can keep calling it the purple and blue blanket. All right, so I'll see you guys later. Bye.